That was excellent. Beautiful playing. I love your energy. It's very vivacious. It's very alive. There's lots of great energy to capture the power of the beginning of this powerful symphony. Hello everybody, my name is Joseph Conyers and welcome to today's edition of Play Me an Excerpt, a platform where musicians like you can play an excerpt for a professional like me. Now if you're a musician watching this and you're wondering how you can play me an excerpt, go down to the link in the description below where you will get all the directions that you'll need. So why don't we get started? On today's edition of Play Me an Excerpt, we have Marcela, a violinist from Peru, and Marquis, a clarinet player from Philadelphia. Why don't we start with Marcela? Marcela, play me an excerpt. Marcela, that was excellent. Beautiful playing. I love your energy. It's very vivacious. It's very alive. There's lots of great energy to capture the power of the beginning of this powerful symphony by Brahms, this first symphony. I do have a few comments that I hope you might be able to find helpful in your preparation in playing this excerpt. So, Dynamics are always super important. So it starts off fortissimo in, that is bar 43, 42, 41, and bar 41. And then it's forte only in bar 42. So, da-dee-dum, ba-dee-da. So we have to make room to show that contrast because if I'm sitting behind the screen, I'm going to want to hear that contrast. With a crescendo. Then we have a più forte in bar 46 with a more crescendo. And then we get a fortissimo in bar 51. I would love to hear that. Those things are really, really important in playing an excerpt. There's so many articulations in Brahms. So even at the very beginning of the excerpt in bar 41, da, ba-da-da-dum. That's an eighth note with a dot. So make sure we get off of that, which I thought you did wonderfully. Then ba-dee-da-dee-da-da, accent, da, and then eighth note and quarter notes with dots. Ba-ba-ba-ba. So those should definitely be shorter. Now, dots don't mean like short or popcorn short. I was taught in school, particularly when you're playing Brahms, that the dot or the staccato note, I should be more specific. The staccato should be basically cut the value of the note that it's over by half, but you play that full length. So for example, in bar 44, you have the La flat, and then you have the F natural in bar 45. La, Fa, the F natural should be, and it's an eighth note with a dot, so it should be a 16th note full length, so it's quite short. Da, and then we have a quarter note with a dot, which should actually almost be played like an eighth note full length. So ba 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 ba. So it's really, really distinct, and those should have that character. And then we can do the più forte. Let's start again and hear that, just so we can hear how we might be able to make that better. Yeah, so just in that D, ba 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 ba, we want to make sure those are definitely staccato notes. Again, not short, but definitely shorter than the value of the note that's written. That's really, really important. So again, really be mindful of the accents, which to me are a little harder, and these dots. And sometimes Brahms writes forzandi, which for me is a more of a whoosh kind of sound. Good. Take your time, Marcella. In excerpts, we want to feel really confident. And while says allegro, it's allegro in 6/8. So for me, the indication is for the 6 notes and not for the half beat. So instead of thinking allegro should be 1, 2, ba dee da dee da dee dee da. It's actually for the 6 notes, 6/8 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ba dee da dee da dee da da dee da dee. Now this is all debatable, and some people might say that might be a little slow, but the point I'm trying to get across is that it should be a lot heavier, because that heaviness is kind of what makes it Brahms, having this dum dum ba dee da dee da dee dee dum bim bumpy da dee da dee da dee dee, really and enjoying and sitting in it be dum ba ba dee dum be dum be da dee, and really setting that rhythm da ba ba 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 dee da, really having that really settled, held back feeling. I think it will go a lot for this performance. It's really easy to get excited about such fun music, but we got to be able to hold back, because that actually shows restraint and actually shows, honestly, maturity in our sound and our approach, particularly when we're playing an excerpt, because you don't want to scare the committee to think that you rush. So be really mindful of that. And I think the last thing I'm going to talk about is whenever you have this figure, da-dum, ba-dum. I know there's no diminuendo, but you want to make sure this da-dum, be-dum, there's some gesturing there versus da-dum, ba-dum. I think there's a little bit of a give there. So just make sure you're super clear. And I will say one more thing. Make sure we don't eat the notes. So one of my favorite sayings in all of the many sayings that Joe Conyers has is that no note shall be left behind. This is policy that I'm trying to get through now that we have a new administration. I'm hoping it will make it through Congress and right to the Joe Biden's desk for a law that would pass, and that no note shall be left behind. That, and they should also be played in the right rhythm. So right off the gate, da ga da ga da, 1 2 3 4 5 ga da ga da, da ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da ga, if that makes any sense. So make sure that we don't. I know you play at a faster tempo, but make sure we don't rush through those notes, because it's really important to hear. Marcela, it's really fantastic to hear you play. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and thanks for playing me an excerpt. And next up, we have Marquis from Philadelphia. Marquis, play me an excerpt. Lovely, Marquis. That's beautiful. I've never heard this piece, but that's lovely. Nice job. A few things that have caught my attention. So one of the things that caught my attention right away is this rhythm. Now, I don't know exactly what the plan is for how you play the 16th note grace notes, but if I were to 16 notes in this rhythm would be a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. So you could play them either no matter how you play the grace notes, should be, if you play them quickly into the downbeat, da 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 dee dum ba da da dee da da dee da. And I want to be able to feel that rhythm, because even in rhapsodic and more melancholic music like this, to have a sense of what that rhythm is, I think is really helpful. Let's listen to see exactly how you do that and see if we can get this to work. Here we go. One, two, two, da. Yeah, I lost the rhythm there, and then da dee da 3. So those are the two hardest bars, and then from there, your rhythm is much better. 1 and 2, 2, E and 3, E and excellent. 1 and 2 and 2, E and 3, E and So it's much better out the gate. So it'll be great if you can establish that for us at the very beginning, because it'll be really helpful for us to get a sense of what the rhythm is. How can one feel a rhythm in such slow music? Well, I find it interesting that this is an homage to J.S. Bach, because J.S. Bach wrote slow movements in 3 in his cello suites. Do you know what that might be called? Maybe it's called a saraband. And in saraband, the heaviest beat is actually the emphasis, even though it's a slow dance, because it is a dance, it's on beat 2. So it's almost like I would encourage you to think da 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 dee dum da dum dee da ya dee 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 da dee da da dee dum dee da dee dum dee da dee da da dee da dee da. I hope that makes some sense, because then what it does is it provides some structure to even the slow rhythm. And then when you provide that structure, the notes, because one of my themes you will always hear me say is that notes are coming somewhere or coming from somewhere or going somewhere. And if we know what those centerpieces are, or those mile markers or cornerstones are in the music, and the notes are going and ebbing and flowing to those cornerstones or mile markers, the listener, not only, they won't be thinking about what the actual beat is, but they will actually feel the bigger pulse, even though it's so slow. So I would really, really recommend thinking about that when performing a piece like this, because it is so beautiful. And I think to have that lilt, 3 and 1 E and 2 3 E and 1. It'll, I think, allow you to know where to put the notes. I just think that's really, really important. So in that vein, I think the last thing I want to say, Marquis, is know when you have these small notes, what they're doing and what their purpose are. So even again at the opening, bar 3, and this is actually all pretty good. By the time we get to bar 5, things get a little more interesting. Da da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee dum ba da dee da dee da da dee da. That's all great. The one that really got my attention, that I want to bring your attention to, is in bar. I'm going to have to count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bar 10. So I'll start in bar 9. Da da dee da da dee da dee dum ba da dee da da dee dum be dee da dee da dee da dee yeah. That there you play the second beat of bar 10 very freely, and I think what you should help do again is help establish that rhythm. So the beginning of the bar, beat da 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 pum ba da dee da dee yeah. Ding, ba-da-da. I think that will help out a lot. Always, always look for where the harmony is going. With Bach, you can use the harmony to kind of show you where the, or use the rhythm and to show you where the harmony is going, and vice versa. And then once you start to play off of that, you actually really start to create some really beautiful music and some really special stuff. Even more so than the beautiful music that you really played. Bravo, Marquis. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that edition of Play Me an Excerpt. And if you would like to play me an excerpt, remember, just click that link in the description below where you'll get all the information you need to play me an excerpt, set it up, all that wonderful stuff. I'm Joseph Conyers. All my socials are below. I play the bass, I get around. And if you enjoy this video, be sure to share it with someone else. They might get something out of it too. You can also subscribe to my channel to make sure you get the next edition and the next version of Play Me an Excerpt.